Hey everybody, this is Peelit, and this commentary has been a long time coming. I finally have a working mic again, and I have been dying to talk about this. It concerns my old friend, the Storm series, and with the EVO competition only a month away, I believe, I really wanted to talk about this little piece of news. Now, if you don't know what EVO is, it's essentially the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. People from around the planet come together to compete in their favorite fighting games, and it makes for one of the most entertaining tournaments that you could possibly watch if you really enjoy fighting games. So, of course, the games that are played at this tournament are truly competitive, hardcore fighting games. You have Street Fighter, King of Fighters. I think this year they're actually having Blaze Blue. Injustice, KI actually made it this year, and these are like the major ones. And then you have, of course, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But I mean, this is where the big games are showcased, and the players for those games. It's the big one. It's the one that counts. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to direct you guys to some comments that were made from the president of CyberConnect 2. This is brought to me, at least, from shacknews.com. Of course, whenever I talk about something, I try to link it in the description, so you'll see it in the description by the time that you see this video. So, the president of CyberConnect 2 shows interest in trying to get the Storm series to tournaments like EVO. And, okay. Now, we all poke fun at the Storm series for different reasons, but as far as the company goes, CyberConnect 2 is a very admirable company. I actually greatly respect CyberConnect 2's president. The things that I've heard about him, and of course things that you see about him, are pretty cool. I believe that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battles, or whatever the one is that CyberConnect 2 just recently put out there, they actually created that because the president said that he wanted to do a better job than the previous game. And I respect that drive, and I respect that confidence and that willingness to try something new and really commit to something. And he has confidence in his company, and he expresses that, and he's totally willing to go out and ask to make these things happen, and he's willing to put in the work, and the company is willing to do it. And you have to respect that kind of initiative. And of course he's also just a very outgoing kind of guy, at least what you see of him typically. So, of course, the Naruto cosplaying and stuff. However, when we look at CyberConnect 2's record with the Storm series, it's kind of hard to get behind this idea that CyberConnect 2 could create a game that is worthy of EVO, of something like EVO. The closest I think they've ever come to getting a truly competitive fighter has been in the Ultimate Ninja series, the 2D games. And there are still little issues here and there. No game is perfect, but I think that's the closest that they've ever come, and they have not made much progress since that point. As a matter of fact, you could probably say that they've gone several steps backwards. However, I do want to say a few things about why I think it won't make it to EVO. I first want to get two things out of the way that people tend to look at when they say that the Storm series is not competitive. First off, execution does not make a game competitive. Just because commands are mapped to different sequences of buttons doesn't mean that the game just automatically becomes competitive. You can have a fighting game that uses the Storm execution and have it be legitimately competitive. That there's nothing wrong with that. It can totally happen. the execution does not create depth. So I want to kind of get that out of the way first. And the next one I want to talk about is character imbalance. Character imbalance is in every fighting game to some degree. Sure, when you have a fighting game where there are over 100 characters, the character imbalance will start to become a little bit more noticeable, as it's not so much that 20 characters are unplayable at a high level like with other competitive fighting games, but 80 might be unplayable at a high level. And so it gets into your mind a little bit more. You start to see it more often, but that doesn't mean that a game cannot be competitive. No fighting game has perfect character balance, and a lot of fighting games have those 1 or 2 characters that are just crazy good, and a lot of the other characters might be really, really good and fully capable of fighting at a high level. It's just that some of these other characters just have more. But again, character imbalance does not mean that a game cannot be competitive. The reason that the Storm series cannot be competitive on the same kind of level as what we would kind of label as legitimate fighting games, the reason for that is because the Storm series does not have comparable depth in its gameplay. The Storm series is incredibly linear. Pretty much every character plays exactly the same. There are small little differences here and there. Some characters have Demon Wind Shuriken. Some characters can tilt in the middle of blocking a combo string so that they can hit their opponent. There are small differences. But for the most part, all of the gameplay is exactly the same. So I want to read you a direct quote from the president, from the CyberConnect 2 president, in the story. Quote, "In order to create such a new battle system, we asked for support from other development company staff who are fighting game experts, like Street Fighter or King of Fighters," end quote. This is why that statement means nothing. Street Fighter and King of Fighters are both 2D fighting games. The Storm series is a huge freaking arena kind of fighting game. Why would you think that Street Fighter players or King of Fighters players might know how to balance your 3D huge freaking arena fighting game? Sure, it might work. It might. We can give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it will. But it has just as much chance working as asking a brain-dead monkey. They are two completely different experiences. And first of all, why do you go to Street Fighter and then King of Fighters as well? Those games are very different as well. But either way, this doesn't mean anything. It's nice to have those buzzwords there, and as far as marketing goes, that's great. But as far as saying that, the game is going to become more competitive, it's going to have more depth, that the battle system is improved for those things, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't help the argument. It's just kind of there, and we still just kind of have to be like, well, maybe, I don't know. He said that it was going to be better. We'll just have to wait and see. There's really no proof. He's just using buzzwords. So I feel as though CyberConnect 2 doesn't really have the record at this point, and some of the things that have been said just don't mean anything. So in order for the Storm series to become competitive, it has to gain depth. Now, I don't know how to give this game depth. I'm honest enough to know that I don't know. I have ideas. Sure, I have ideas like every other person. The thing is, most people think that they could create the ultimately balanced fighting game. Most people think that they could do that. The same thing with Call of Duty. Everybody thinks that they could create a perfectly balanced game of Call of Duty. Everyone. But let me fill you in on something. They couldn't. I don't know how to fix the Storm series and keep it still the Storm series. I don't know. I have ideas. There are things that I think you should do that might help, but I don't know. And if anyone tells you that they know, they are lying to you and they're lying to themselves because they don't know. They have ideas, sure, but they don't know. The only thing that we do know is that the Storm series has a long road ahead of it if it wants to gain some kind of depth that will get it respected amongst competitive fighting games. So to recap, the reason that the Storm series won't be at EVO is not because it's a one-button fighter. It's not because some characters are better than others. It's because the game is shallow. It has no depth. The gameplay itself is not good. And even if the gameplay was fixed to become something competitive, they haven't even given us a consistent 30 frames per second. So in the comments below, let me know what you guys are excited to see at EVO this year. I'm really excited to see Injustice get another shot. And I'm actually also really excited to see Blaze Blue getting a spotlight. And of course, every year, gotta love Marvel and Street Fighter. So let me know what you guys are looking forward to in the comments below. I will see you guys next time. More commentary coming, I promise. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
I won't let you escape. Over here. It's not That's the end, isn't it? In that case, I'll take my leave.